What's going on, everyone? Another ETA episode going on here. Episode number 2 of the new season. We're going to be covering the future of the Eastern Conference today. We're going to be looking a little bit into the reasons as to why Dallas Keuchel has not been signed, and some other as far as things go, as well as the future of the Giants, because as everybody knows, Dave Gettleman is becoming a joke. All right, so this is where we start. I'm going to start with baseball since there's the beginning of the baseball season. We'll dive a little bit into the NBA draft also. My main first question is Dallas Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel was a previous award Cy Young winner, and unfortunately, he has still not been signed. There's a lot of questions as to why he hasn't, but I have some interesting stats that might prove as to why he has or has not been. Scott Boras is his agent, same agent as Bryce Harper. As we all know, Bryce Harper got the 13 years, $300+ million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. So that begs a lot of question and speculation as to why he can't receive a contract. 2, last year, 145.2 innings pitched, which was a career low due to some health issues. Previous years, he averaged about 170 to 180 innings pitched, which is right around the same time that he won the Cy Young in the American League. Over the past 5 seasons, he is second in ground ball rate with a 60%, and that has an average, a minimum of 500 innings pitched. And also, he's 31 years old. So for a lefty who's somewhat crafty, his average velocity has dropped about half a tick or half a mile per hour, which doesn't seem like a big deal in the end point, but actually when you look at the full summary of it, it kind of shows you how important that actually is, because that affects your exit velocity and such on, which is becoming a big part of baseball and analytics. 2, Carlos Gonzalez, who's been a long-time Rocky, was signed by the Cleveland Indians yesterday on a 1-year, $2 million contract. The interesting part is that he is 33 years old, but his stats last year really weren't bad. He had a 276 batting average, 16 home runs, and 64 RBIs, which is respectable considering the fact that of his age and probably how minimally he played, even though he has been a lifer for Coors Field and for the Colorado Rockies. Now, what I find most interesting when I saw looking up some research today was this article by John Lott on the Blue Jays increasing their minor league salaries. Now, when the Blue Jays increase their salaries, it's all dictating upon what level you are within their system. So if you're in the single A system, you get a 56% increase, which means you make about $2,400 a month or $12,000 per season, which is a 5-month season, roughly. These are all estimates. Number 2, if you're in double A, you make about $2,550 a month, which is $1,275 or $12,750 a month when it comes down to double A ball. And best of all, if you're in triple A, so AAA overall, you have a 40% increase, which comes to roughly $3,050 a month, which is $15,250 per 5-month season. So that was fairly interesting to look at. And I'd like to see, because these people are working quite hard to get the grind to try and get themselves to make a decent amount of money, but it's hard to do that when you're, only in the minor leagues, when you're eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches and last week's Doritos or Lay's potato chips. Okay, and then everybody knows about the whole Bryce Harper thing, yada yada yada. It's Bryce Harper. He's still gonna be the golden boy of baseball, even though we all know it's supposed to be Mike Trout, but because Mike Trout hasn't become a free agent and he's going to probably go to Philadelphia because him and Bryce Harper are like buddies, they're probably going to follow stride for stride. And that covers pretty much everything as far as baseball goes. I will be asking for some questions on fantasy stuff. I'm new to fantasy baseball this year, so any kind of pointers, tips, recommendations, or comments would be great. Also, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. That would be awesome. Help my channel get more viewer and more knowledge, spread the word, and help this guy in a small town accomplish his dream. Okay, so let's get to NFL. I've been waiting to talk about this. I'm just going to start out. We're going to get this done with. What in the hell is going on with the New York Giants? I mean, are you seriously kidding me? You kept Eli Manning. And let me just give you some stats on Eli Manning as to why this just blows me away. Okay? It's very, very simple. Eli Manning, I take no pride in saying this, he made a $5 million roster signing bonus just for keeping on the roster Saturday. So what's your point or what's your outlook or what you were trying to get here is kind of cloudy for me. I can't really follow it myself. But I guess Dave Gettleman, being the genius that he is for trading Odell Beckham Jr., a top 3 wide receiver in football, because of pure talent, not just numbers, you trade him to Cleveland for a 17th overall draft pick, Jabril Peppers, and next year's third. That's all you can get? Well, the Steelers did get fleeced on the whole Antonio Brown list because Antonio Brown wanted to get paid. That's all he wanted was money, money, money. So we get back to Eli. Eli had 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a 92.4 quarterback rating, which for most is like respectable. Okay, I'd rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick for that money. No question. No question. Okay? He's 38 years old. $23.2 million is on the cap this year for him, people. $23.2 million for Eli Manning, who's 38 years old, whose total accumulated earning for this league is highest in NFL history. Okay? More than his brother Peyton, which we thought would never happen. These are the facts. The Dolphins trade away Ryan Tannehill to the Titans because the whole situation with Marcus Mariota, because he's fragile, is all going to get out, is quite questionable. And as far as the future of the Titans goes, it's quite interesting because now you have Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill, which are almost the same kind of quarterback. So what are you trying to accomplish here? You trade away a draft pick or 2 draft picks, acquired one back, and got Ryan Tannehill, but then restructured his contract, which was kind of interesting because I guess now you have the best backup quarterback in the league, which is an actual important position. But I don't know if it's worth getting Ryan Tannehill for. I'd rather just draft the quarterback, raise him up to be where he is now. So therefore, if Marcus Mariota does not pan out, then you have a fallback option, not just another Marcus Mariota in different form. Bengals this morning released Vontaze Burfict. I'm not going to get into him in general. All I'm going to say is that this is not a shocker to most of us due to the fact of who he is and what he has been. He has had a lot of issues on and off the field, including medical problems. So I hate to see it happen, but it's a business, and a business is a business. Chiefs signed Bashaud Breeland this morning. He was an ex-Packer, signed to the Chiefs on a 1-year, $5 million contract. Kind of surprised to see him go, considering that Green Bay has been trying to bolster up their team with whatnot additions. I was kind of hoping Antonio Brown would be a Packer, but that's for a different story for a different day. And let's see here. Jordy Nelson. Yeah, that's where I was going to lead. I was going to end with the whole NFL. It's Jordy Nelson, free agent, has linked up a deal not a deal, but a plan to take a flight out to Seattle to see if he can maybe make it with the Seahawks. I like the fit. Ever since we lost Golden Tate, we haven't had really another bulky wide receiver. Doug Baldwin has had a lot of medical problems. He had double surgery on his knee and shoulder in the offseason. So there's a lot of questions when it comes to that. And Tyler Lockett had an emerging season. He's now clearly the number 1 wide receiver for the Seahawks. Having a third veteran option for Russell Wilson would be great, pending upon how fast Will Dissly, the tight end rookie from the University of Washington, returns. Jordy Nelson's quick stats for last year: 63 receptions, 739 yards, 11.7 average with 3 touchdowns. And I'm going to end today's video on NBA because there was a great basketball game that happened between the 76ers and the Bucks. I'm a huge Bucks fan. I'm a huge 76ers fan. It was kind of it tore me both sides to watch, but it was a great game, and I want to dig into a couple details. So the final, 76ers beat Milwaukee 130-125. 76ers were previously 0-5 against Milwaukee, Toronto, and Boston, 3 of the powerhouses within the current conference. So this was a good thing to see, even though we'll get into the reason why this actually happened for them a victory, because I was surprised that it happened. Joel Embiid had 40 points, 15 rebounds. Jimmy Butler had 27 points. And, of course, Ben Simmons, who can't shoot anything unless he drives to the hole, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Giannis was a one-man wrecking crew yesterday for the Milwaukee Bucks. Dropped a career high of 52 points, 16 rebounds, and 7 assists. Unfortunately, this leads into the development for the Bucks, which has been talked about a lot this week because of the status of where they're going to be for the playoffs. But this comes down to Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon being one of their guards, primary dominant guards for Milwaukee, has a slight minor torn plantar fascia. Pardon me, I'm not a doctor, but I do my best. 6 to 8 weeks on that injury is roughly what it's going to be, which would equivalent in the NBA calendar to being somewhere around the end of the second round of the playoffs, which is a huge loss for Milwaukee. Brook Lopez, their center, has been trying his best. He's shooting right around 31% from three, but you can't expect this to really keep going. So it's going to beg to ask the question, what is Milwaukee going to be able to pull to supplement the loss of Malcolm Brogdon? So we're going to see how well that ends up working its way out. Toronto, with still incorporating Marc Gasol and the mid-trade line pickups, are still being worked into the mix. I have a lot of respect for what's happening out there with the Pacers. Nate McMillan's done a great job. And I still can't figure out why Bradley Beal hasn't left Washington, but that's another story for a different day. Anyways, hope you all liked, shared, and subscribed. Be much appreciated. Give me some comments, ideas, stuff like that for next week's video. I'm going to keep accumulating. Please remember, if anybody has any kind of insight as to, or any ideas, comments, any, insider information when it comes to fantasy baseball, please give me a couple ideas. Be much appreciated. And until next time, let's have a beautiful day, everyone.